In a small quiet village, a young girl named Anna sat outside a broken mud hut. Her eyes were tired, but her spirit refused to give up. At only 16, she had already lost both her parents. Beside her, her little brother Daniel, just 6 years old, leaned against her shoulder, his face thin from hunger. The sky darkened with heavy clouds, and Anna whispered, "Don't worry, Daniel. I will take care of you." The next morning, Anna carried a heavy bundle of firewood on her fragile back, her feet dusty as she walked barefoot through the village. Sweat dripped down her face, but she forced a smile each time she thought of Daniel waiting at home. At the market, she exchanged the firewood for a few coins, but it was never enough. Hunger continued to follow them like a shadow. That night, rain leaked through the roof of their little hut. The thin mats were soaked, and Daniel cried softly from the cold. Anna held him close, her clothes drenched, her heart heavy. Looking at the cracked ceiling, she whispered to herself, "One day, I will give my brother a better life. One day we will not suffer like this." Her promise would lead her into a world she never expected. The morning sun rose over the village, casting golden light on the cracked walls of Anna's hut. She watched Daniel nibbling on a piece of dry yam, his only meal for the day. Tears welled in her eyes. She knew this life of endless hunger couldn't continue. Kneeling beside him, Anna whispered, "Daniel, I must go to the city. I will find work. I will send for you." Daniel's small hands gripped hers tightly, fear written across his little face. With a small bundle of clothes tied in an old wrapper, Anna stood at the edge of the village road. The air was heavy, as though the earth itself mourned her departure. Daniel clung to her waist, refusing to let go. "Don't leave me, sister," he cried. Anna knelt down, wiping his tears. "I promise I'll come back for you. Be strong until then." She hugged him one last time, then forced herself to walk away, her heart breaking with every step. The rickety village bus groaned as it started moving. Anna sat by the window, her bundle on her lap, staring at the dusty road disappearing behind her. The village grew smaller and smaller, while Daniel's image stayed fixed in her heart. Around her, strangers chattered, but Anna's mind was far away. She whispered to herself, "This is the beginning. I will endure whatever comes for him." What Anna didn't know was that the city would test her in ways she had never imagined. The bus screeched to a halt, and Anna stepped down, clutching her small bundle. The city was nothing like her village. The noise of car horns, the rush of people, and the tall buildings overwhelmed her. She looked around, lost in a sea of strangers. Her heart pounded. This was the new world where she must fight to survive. She whispered under her breath, "Anna, be strong for Daniel." All day, Anna wandered the busy streets, asking shop owners and women at stalls if they needed help. Some ignored her, others laughed. By evening, her legs ached, and her stomach growled from hunger. She sat by the roadside, clutching her bundle, watching city lights flicker. The dream she carried felt heavier than ever, but she refused to give up. As night fell, an older woman carrying a basket of fruits stopped near Anna. She looked at the tired girl and asked, "Child, where is your family?" Anna lowered her eyes and answered softly, "I have no one here. I came to find work." The woman studied her for a moment, then said, "Follow me. I know a family that needs a housemaid." Anna's heart skipped. Was this her chance, or the beginning of another trial? Anna followed the fruit seller through winding city streets until they stopped before a massive iron gate. Behind it stood a mansion so grand it looked like a palace. The walls gleamed white, the gardens trimmed, and expensive cars lined the driveway. Anna froze, clutching her small bundle tighter. Never in her life had she seen such wealth. She whispered to herself, "Can I really belong here?" The maid at the gate let them in and led Anna inside. Marble floors reflected her bare feet as chandeliers sparkled above her. In the living room sat Madame Grace, the lady of the house, dressed in a flowing silk gown, her face sharp and proud. Her eyes scanned Anna from head to toe with little warmth. "So you are the new maid?" she asked coldly. Anna bowed slightly, her voice trembling. "Yes, Ma. I will work hard." By evening, Anna was shown to a small corner room at the back of the mansion. The bed was thin, but to her it felt like luxury compared to the mat in her village hut. As she lay down, staring at the ceiling, her thoughts drifted back to Daniel. "This is the beginning," she whispered. "I will endure everything so that one day I can bring him here." But little did Anna know, the same house she saw as her chance for a new life would soon become the stage of her greatest humiliation. Before the first light of dawn, Anna was already awake, sweeping the long marble hallways, scrubbing the kitchen floor, and washing piles of dirty plates. Her hands blistered, but she dared not complain. From the grand dining table, she watched the family eat lavish meals while she quietly stood by, waiting to clear their plates. Hunger gnawed at her, but she said nothing. One afternoon, while carrying laundry to the backyard, Anna crossed paths with Clara, Madame Grace's only daughter. Dressed in designer clothes and expensive jewelry, Clara wrinkled her nose and scoffed. "You smell like sweat, maid. Don't touch me with those filthy hands." The other workers laughed softly, but Anna lowered her gaze, swallowing her shame. Her heart ached, but she held on to her silent promise. Daniel must never suffer again. Late at night, after serving the family their dinner, Anna would return to the table once everyone left. She quietly gathered the leftover food into a small cloth and hid it under her apron. She didn't eat much, just a little to survive, but most of it she saved. Every bite she carried away was meant for Daniel. She risked being caught, but love gave her courage. Anna thought her secret was safe, but soon, someone would discover it. She tucked the food under her apron, ready to sneak it away. Just as she turned, a sharp voice echoed across the room. "What are you doing?" Anna froze. It was Clara, Madame Grace's proud daughter, standing at the doorway in her silk nightgown, her eyes blazing with anger. Clara marched forward, snatching the cloth from Anna's hands. She unwrapped it, exposing the food. With a cruel laugh, she shouted, "Look at this greedy thief, stealing scraps like a beggar." The noise brought the other workers running. They gathered, whispering and laughing as Clara mocked Anna. "You can't afford real food, can you? You wait for our leftovers like a dog." Anna's face burned with shame, tears threatening to spill. But she remained silent, clutching her apron. Deep inside, her heart broke, not because of the insults, but because she feared she might no longer be able to feed Daniel. Anna's humiliation had just begun, and the worst was yet to come. The next morning, the mansion buzzed with whispers. Clara wasted no time spreading the story of how she caught Anna with food. By breakfast, Madame Grace, Clara, and even some of the workers were waiting at the table. Anna stood in the corner, her head bowed, clutching her apron. Clara smirked, pointing at her. "That's her, the thief who steals scraps like a beggar." Madame Grace looked at Anna with cold disdain. "Is it true? After all we give you, you still steal from us." Her voice cut like a knife. Clara burst into laughter, adding, "Maybe she thinks she's too good for her own poor food. Look at her, always sneaking around." The other servants chuckled behind their hands, enjoying the spectacle. Anna's cheeks burned, her tears falling silently as their laughter echoed through the mansion. When the mocking finally ended, Anna slipped away to the small corner that served as her room. She sank to the floor, pressing her face into her hands. Her shoulders shook with sobs, but no words came out. All she could think about was Daniel, his small hungry face, waiting for food that might never come. Her heart cried, "I wasn't stealing for myself, it was for him." But unknown to her, someone in the mansion had overheard enough to question the truth. That evening, as the family dined, the master of the house, Mr. Williams, noticed Anna standing in her usual corner. Her face looked pale, her eyes swollen from crying. She cleared the plates quickly, her hands trembling. Something about her silence struck him deeply. Unlike the others, he did not laugh when Clara mocked her. Instead, he watched her closely, wondering why a girl so young carried such heavy sorrow. Later that night, when the house grew quiet, Anna slipped into the kitchen once again. She wrapped a few pieces of leftover bread and hid it carefully under her apron. She tiptoed toward the gate, unaware that Mr. Williams had risen from his study. In the shadows, he followed quietly, his eyes narrowing as he realized she was not stealing to eat immediately, but hiding the food as though it had another destination. The next day, instead of scolding her, Mr. Williams watched her even more closely. When she left the mansion with her small bundle hidden beneath her wrapper, he quietly followed at a distance. His heart pounded as he saw where she went, a narrow alley where a little boy sat waiting. The moment Anna knelt and handed him the food, the boy's thin arms wrapped around her with joy. Mr. Williams froze in place. So this was her secret. The thief they mocked was not stealing for herself. She was saving her brother's life. Anna was kneeling in the alley, wiping crumbs from Daniel's mouth as he ate hungrily. Suddenly, a deep voice broke the silence. "Anna," she froze. Slowly, she turned and saw Mr. Williams standing a few steps away, his tall frame casting a shadow in the dim light. Her heart raced, fear gripping her. The cloth of food slipped from her trembling hands. "Sir, I can explain," she stammered. Unable to hold back, Anna fell to her knees before him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Please, sir, don't send me away. I wasn't stealing for myself. My brother, he would starve without me. I'll accept any punishment, but don't let him suffer." Her voice cracked with desperation as she clung to her brother, shielding him as though the world itself was against them. Mr. Williams stood still, his eyes fixed on the frail little boy clinging to Anna. For a long moment, he said nothing, his face unreadable. Finally, he sighed deeply and walked closer. Placing a hand gently on Anna's shoulder, he said softly, "You should not have suffered this alone." Anna lifted her tear-stained face, shocked by the compassion in his voice. Something was about to change in the mansion. The next evening, the grand dining table sparkled with gold cutlery and steaming dishes. Madame Grace and Clara laughed loudly, while Anna stood quietly in her corner, her eyes on the floor. Mr. Williams sat at the head of the table, unusually silent, his gaze resting on Anna from time to time. Clara noticed and smirked, whispering to her mother, "He still thinks about that thief." After dinner, as Anna began to clear the plates, Mr. Williams suddenly raised his voice. "Enough." The room fell silent. He stood, his eyes sweeping across the table. "You mock this girl without knowing the truth. Do you think she takes food because she is greedy? No, she takes it because she has a starving brother hidden in this city." He turned toward Anna, who froze in shock. Gasps filled the room. Clara's laughter died instantly, replaced with disbelief. Madame Grace's spoon clattered to her plate as she stared at Anna with wide eyes. The servants whispered among themselves, ashamed of their mocking. Anna trembled, tears in her eyes, her secret now laid bare for all to hear. The same mouths that once called her a thief were left speechless. But in her heart, fear still lingered. What would they do to her now that everything was known? Clara slammed her hands on the table, her voice sharp with anger. "So what? She's still a thief. Taking our food without permission is stealing, no matter the reason." She turned to her mother, eyes blazing. "Mother, we cannot keep this girl here. She is disgracing our family." Her words dripped with pride and bitterness, unwilling to see beyond her own comfort. Madame Grace adjusted her silk gown, her eyes narrowing at Anna. "I should have known. Girls like her always bring trouble. If we allow this, soon she will steal more than just food. She should be sent away before she ruins the order of this house." Her tone was cold, each word slicing Anna's heart deeper. Anna knelt in silence, tears streaming, clutching her apron as though it could shield her from their judgment. But Mr. Williams rose slowly, his presence commanding the room. "Enough." His voice was steady but firm. He looked at Anna with softened eyes, then turned to his wife and daughter. "You sit here in luxury every day, yet this girl has carried a burden none of you could bear. She is not a thief. She is a sister protecting her brother. And for that she deserves respect, not mockery." His words hung heavy in the air, breaking the silence like thunder. For the first time, Anna felt seen, but her battle was far from over. The next morning, Anna was sweeping the living room quietly when Mr. Williams entered. She quickly bowed, expecting scolding. Instead, he said gently, "Anna, bring your brother here tomorrow. He will not go hungry again." Anna froze, her broom slipping from her hands. She looked up with wide, tearful eyes. "Sir, did I hear you right?" He nodded firmly. "You are no longer alone in this fight." The following day, Anna led little Daniel by the hand into the grand mansion. His eyes widened as he saw the sparkling chandeliers and polished floors. For the first time, he tasted warm food at the family's table. Anna stood nearby, tears streaming silently as she watched him eat hungrily. The same house where she once carried shame now held a moment of joy she never thought possible. But not everyone was pleased. Clara sat in the corner, arms folded, glaring at Daniel. "So now this street boy will share our table," she muttered under her breath. Madame Grace's face was stiff with disapproval, though she said nothing in her husband's presence. Anna felt the weight of their resentment, but she held her brother's hand tightly. Deep inside, she whispered, "Let them hate me, as long as Daniel is safe." Clara stormed into her room, slamming the door behind her. She paced back and forth, her gold bangles clinking with each step. First the maid, now her ragged brother sitting at our table, she hissed. Her pride burned like fire. She couldn't accept that her father would show kindness to someone she considered beneath them. "I will not allow them to stay here. Not in my house." That evening, Clara sat beside her mother, whispering bitterly, "Mother, can't you see what is happening? Father is already treating them like family. If this continues, that girl will steal his heart completely. We must do something before she takes our place." Madame Grace frowned but said nothing. Clara leaned closer, her eyes sharp with hatred. "Trust me, I will make her regret ever stepping into this mansion." Later that night, Clara stood by the balcony, looking down at Anna and Daniel laughing quietly in the garden. Their simple joy only fueled her bitterness. She clenched her fists tightly. "Enjoy this moment while it lasts," she whispered to herself. "I will disgrace you in a way you can never recover from." A cruel smile spread across her face as the seeds of her plan began to take root. Anna had no idea. The storm of betrayal was gathering against her. Clara crept into the mansion's pantry late at night. She carried a small piece of jewelry, an expensive gold bracelet belonging to her mother. With a sly smile, she slipped it inside the basket where Anna usually kept the leftover food. "Tomorrow," Clara whispered, "everyone will see what kind of thief she really is." Her laughter echoed softly in the empty room. The next morning, Madame Grace's voice rang out in fury. "My bracelet is missing." The mansion turned upside down as servants searched everywhere. Clara stepped forward, pretending concern. "Perhaps we should check Anna's things," she suggested sweetly. Reluctantly, the head maid opened Anna's food basket. Gasps filled the air as the gold bracelet glittered among the scraps of bread. Anna's face drained of color. No, I don't know how this got here," she cried desperately. The household gathered in the courtyard as Clara pointed at Anna with triumph. "I told you. She isn't just a greedy girl, she's a thief. First food, now jewelry. How long before she steals everything?" Madame Grace's eyes burned with anger, and even the servants whispered in disgust. Anna fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, her voice breaking. "I swear I didn't do this. Please believe me." But no one came to her defense. Anna's world seemed to crumble before her very eyes. As Anna wept on the floor, Mr. Williams remained quiet, watching everything carefully. His wife raged, Clara mocked, and the servants whispered. But something in his heart told him Anna was innocent. He studied her trembling hands, her broken voice, and the fear in her eyes. This is not the face of a thief, he thought. He decided silently, "I will find the truth myself." That night, after everyone retired, Mr. Williams walked into the pantry alone. He searched every shelf, every basket, until he noticed something unusual, a faint scratch on the wooden lid of Anna's basket. Kneeling, he ran his hand across it and saw tiny flakes of gold dust clinging to the wood. His eyes narrowed. "This bracelet was planted here," he muttered to himself. His suspicion began to take shape. The following evening, Mr. Williams hid quietly near the pantry. His patience was rewarded when Clara tiptoed in, thinking no one was watching. She opened the basket, smirked, and whispered, "Tomorrow you will be finished, Anna." Mr. Williams' heart hardened with anger, but he remained hidden. He now held the truth in his hands. Clara was the true deceiver. The question was, how would he reveal it? The next morning, Mr. Williams called everyone to the living room. Madame Grace sat proudly, Clara stood with a smug smile, and the servants gathered eagerly, ready for more drama. Anna sat quietly in the corner, her eyes swollen from crying all night. The air was tense. Mr. Williams cleared his throat and said firmly, "Before we accuse anyone, let us hear the whole truth." He walked to the center of the room, holding Clara's gold bracelet in his hand. Everyone gasped. "I found this myself," he began, "and I also saw who placed it in Anna's basket." Clara's face paled instantly. "No, that's not true," she stammered, but her father's eyes pierced through her. He turned to the servants. It was Clara who set this trap. She planted the bracelet, hoping to disgrace Anna. Madame Grace leapt up in shock. "Clara, my daughter." But Mr. Williams silenced her. "I saw it with my own eyes." The servants murmured in disbelief, and Clara's pride crumbled. I was only trying to protect our name. She doesn't belong here," Clara cried, her voice shaking. But Mr. Williams thundered, "The only shame here is your cruelty. Anna is not the thief. You are the liar." The room fell silent. For the first time, Clara stood exposed, her arrogance shattered before everyone. The room was still tense. Everyone waited for Anna to speak, but she kept her head bowed. Mr. Williams gently asked, "Tell us, child, why did you really take food at night?" Slowly, tears rolled down Anna's face as she whispered, "It was never for me, sir. I have a younger brother in the village. He is starving. Every night I carried food home so he could survive." A heavy silence followed. Suddenly, the same servants who once mocked her covered their mouths in shame. Madame Grace lowered her eyes. Even Clara, still trembling, was speechless. Mr. Williams' voice softened. "So all this while, you were sacrificing yourself for your brother?" Anna nodded, sobbing quietly. He looked around at his family, his face stern. "You laughed at her, mocked her, and called her a thief. Yet she has shown more love and dignity than any of us in this house." His words struck like thunder. Clara wept silently. Madame Grace's pride melted into guilt. Walking to Anna, Mr. Williams placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "From today, you are no longer just a maid in this house. You are family. I will make sure your brother never goes hungry again." Anna gasped, covering her mouth in disbelief. The servants clapped quietly, touched by the moment. Years later, Anna returned to her village, not as the poor maid they once pitied, but as a successful woman who lifted her brother and transformed her entire community. The girl who once ate leftovers in secret had become the hope of many. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this message. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and what act of kindness inspired you today. Thanks for being part of this journey. Until next time, remember, even the smallest act of kindness can change a life. Rate this from 1 to 10.